Hey there, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So your mantra for this week is I know my shadow self, and I work to willingly transform aspects of it. I find this really a fascinating mantra for you. We have a eclipse happening in Scorpio, transforming the shadow self energy, and it squares your energy, which is it really is going to engage you in wanting to make choices. You are kind of like in a T-square outlet point for this, because you have the sun in Taurus opposing the moon in Scorpio, and the outlet point for this energy is yours, right? It's yours and it's Leo's. And so this is some really powerful energy that you are working with here. And Pluto in your sign rules this eclipse, and he is definitely helping you to work with your shadow side to dig a little deeper. And everybody has a shadow side. This is not a critical comment at all. This is an awareness. This is how we become aware of the aspects that we want to work on. And it doesn't say all of them. It says I'm willing to transform aspects of it. So there's parts of you that it's about accepting the shadow of who we are. And there are times when we want to improve things and change things and become and to grow. And there are other times when we don't. But I think that this eclipse energy will highlight for you something that you're like, yeah, no, done with that. I need to do something about that. Whatever that is, it's going to be probably different for each of you, but it is about stepping into action, right? We have the card here of the masculine. There's two masculine cards in this deck, and this one, this dude right here, he's like, I'm confident, I'm courageous, I'm strong, and I can do this. And so that is your overall energy here. I see you, shadow side. I see you, and I'm willing to work on you, and I'm willing to transform some aspects of this. That doesn't mean I'm willing to do everything and change everything for everyone. No, I'm unique and I'm individual. I'm an Aquarius, for goodness sakes. And then some of what you think might be a shadow, other people are like, well, that's a great thing. And so this is a self-evaluation. This is not about taking other people's critique of what you need to change. Who cares what they think? What do you think? And what do you feel? And what is being drawn to your attention? And so we have here the key to the situation. You have the rolling of the dice. It's a risk. There's a change. It's a new beginning. It almost kind of has that fool energy to it of like, I'm stepping out into something. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to roll the dice and see what happens. I'm going to see what, if I make a change on this, how does that change my life? And is it worth it or not? Like, is this something I'm interested in doing or not? And it's totally, it feels very much like, to you it might feel like a bit of a gamble, right? To step out of something that you've always done, to risk maybe your heart or something like that. But there is an opportunity for you to find a community where you feel really comfortable and at home and at ease coming through this. So we have, what do you transform here? We have the card of the letter. The soul contract is what it actually feels like to me. It could be news or information that comes in that completely transforms your life in some aspect or the other, because we do have the flowers, the bouquet of happiness. But it feels like it is a contract that you make with yourself. I see you, shadow side, and I choose joy and I choose happiness. And so whatever that means, however I get there, I'm willing to work on that, because then that opens the door for this bouquet of joy and happiness to enter my life. And that is what I really and truly want, right? And this is what we all want. We all want to feel joy and happiness, no matter what our no matter how we evolve through our soul growth, and no matter what we choose as the vehicle of purpose, the purpose always comes back to creating more joy, more love, and more happiness in our lives. Because when we do it in our lives, because we are part of the whole, we actually create it in the wholeness of everything. And so it's not about necessarily making everybody, we can't make other people happy. We can only make ourselves happy. And happiness is a choice. It is a decision. Right? And I feel like with the square energy and if the tension there's a choice, and you go, well, you know what? That's holding me back from feeling what it is I want to feel in my life, this joy and this happiness. And I'm going to move toward that, because that's what I desire. And so, so there's that. Now, for those of you who have an actual contract brought to you for like you're signing a contract on a home, or you're signing to work someplace, or some kind of a legal document. For some of you, that might be a thing, because in the area of what you're seeking information on, and we have the fish, this is abundance, and so you may be trying to take out a contract, a loan, or signing a contract for work, or taking on some kind of work or anything. I do want to encourage you to remember that Mercury is in retrograde, and so it would be in your best interest to take a double look, maybe even have a lawyer look over something like that. Make sure that you've gone through with a fine-tooth comb, okay? Because whatever this is, it might almost be a gamble whether or not it brings you the happiness that you seek. And so taking a chance and a moment to look at the details. Because what do you anchor your energy into? Okay, you anchor your energy into the magnifying glass, so really getting into the details of things. For some of you, this is very much in the 3D contract. For some of you, this is anchoring into the details of, I see you, shadow self. I see you, and I'm willing to do some work on that, because my ultimate goal is to feel happiness, and if this is stopping and blocking me, and in the area of the mountain, we have the mountain, so there has been an obstacle, a major block, and you're like, yeah, but I see it now. I see it. I can do something about this, and of course you can. And so in the area of abundance, you are open to receiving that. We have the divine feminine that's just sitting there patiently waiting. And so this is taking action towards your shadow self, but this is being open to receiving the abundance that you are looking for. So it could be that you're waiting for something to come through the mail and it shows up, some kind of a contract, some kind of an offer here. So let's talk about this heart space energy, because this is totally fascinating to me. All right, so in the heart space, there has been a sense of feeling not quite at home in your heart space. Like home doesn't really feel like home for some reason. Either there's something not right. It could be the home within yourself, or there's some conflict in the home and you want to resolve it, and you want to create a healing energy in your home, and so you're looking at that. This isn't about someone saying to you, you need to do this, that, or the other thing. This is a choice or a decision that you make. And as I said that, we just had a hawk drop down off of the roof and take off. And so the hawk to me represents a messenger from spirit to go for it, to go for what it is that you want. Okay, so there's that. So here we have what's been draining your energy is trying to create this sense of home and peace in the heart space, right? And so it feels risky. It feels risky to open yourself up. It feels risky, right? It's like if I tell somebody how I feel about them, if I tell somebody, I give them power over, that gives them the ability to possibly hurt me, right? Because maybe you were hurt in your childhood, the abandonment issues or control issues or whatever it was that has somehow imprinted your heart. And so this is something that has been a struggle for you. How do I open up to what it is I want, this joy, this happiness, this almost soulmate contract feeling that I have coming through here? And so how do I open myself up to this? It feels risky. It feels risky to open my heart to the space here, to allow this energy to come in. And so here in the heart, we have communication. But look, it's around what looks like a home, right? It's a birdhouse. So there is communication in the home space, in the heart space. This is opening up, and there is a need to share a little bit. Not a lot, though. I don't think a lot, because it's like, I see. I'm having this communication within myself about what it is that makes this all feel so risky to me. And there may be that you need to see a counselor, or you need to speak with a close friend or something like that. Remember, our partners are not our therapists. I think that's really important to always remember. Our partners are not our therapists. If you need a therapist, go get a professional, right? Or get a friend that'll listen to you. Because our partners, if we're always that creates a dynamic of teacher-student in a relationship, when what you really want to have is more of an equal relationship there, right? Not one that's like holding all the cards kind of energy. So don't do that. So you have here, I keep the waters pure and I keep my own counsel. And so this makes me feel like what is going on here in the heart space here, this work that you're doing, it's very much inner work. And so yes, a close friend or a professional counselor or something like this. I think that there is a need perhaps to talk to someone, but I want to say that journaling will also very much help you to sort out this inner dialogue that you have going on here, to help you to see who all the players are, because there's different kinds of birds here. It's not just one kind of bird, and so I feel like it's a family of birds. Maybe they are all the same one. This one's just flying. So it looks like a Baltimore Oriole. Does a Baltimore Oriole have a special spiritual meaning to you? Possibly. But if not, look up spiritual meaning of Baltimore Oriole. I don't off the top of my head know particularly what it is, but I would say that it would be the sacral chakra with that orange in it that is being highlighted there. And the sacral chakra is around our sacred sexuality. It is around our creative energy. It's around being able to feel safe and secure enough to create with someone else. And it is our own personal creative space. It is our own personal creative space, and it does connect to the sex organs. And so there could be something here, and if there's 4 birds, so that could mean stability, absolutely, or it could mean there's too many cooks in the kitchen. When you have the cards that say here to keep your own counsel, so you don't need someone to point out to you what your shadow side is because you already see it. And now it's time to use the energy of this eclipse to get into the details of it and start doing the work yourself, to allow yourself to seek what it is that you need, and to, I don't really want to say self-analysis, and yet I do. And so for some of you, you need a professional. And for others, if you are willing to do the work and really deep dive and be truly honest with yourself, you can do a lot of the work yourself. You really can. You have been trying to fit in. Here we have, again, this 4 energy. Okay, she is wearing a mask. She is trying to be like everyone else. She's trying to fit in with everyone else, and so she's dressed herself up. And I think that for Aquarius, I've had this conversation with you before. I have Aquarian children. I have watched this happen, and I know that your uniqueness, which is your superpower, when you are younger, you're standing out in the crowd, feels uncomfortable, and so you try to, I want to say, dumb yourself down or hide who you are, or just try to go along to get along. And I think that this eclipse busts that open, and you're like, I am who I am, right? He's not wearing a mask. He's not trying to fit in. He's like, I'm who I am. I stand up for who I am. I reveal who I am to the world, and who I am is magnificent. And so there are shadow sides to you, but what other people think are your shadow sides are probably actually your talents and your gifts. And so you need to do your own analysis and figure out what it is that is, and I'm going to guess that for the majority of you, the biggest area to really consider is that because you stood out and you were different, that you were kind of a target of ridicule and finger pointing as a child. And that made you close down your heart space. And it feels risky to open up and to let others in. And I want to tell you that when you open yourself up and let others in, if you put a filter on who you let in, does their energy resonate with mine? Is this someone that feels compatible to me? Is this energy that I really truly understand and I get and I'm comfortable with? Then you should take the risk. But if it's somebody where you're trying to open up to them because you want to feel accepted and brought along with the crowd, that is something to really think about. Is that really what you want to do? Because then you're hiding your light under a bushel. And you were meant to shine. You were meant to shine. So really want to encourage you to do the self-analysis. You're being invited into an analysis of what in your heart space allows you to feel safe and secure and at home. How can you go about bringing in the joy and the happiness? And so it is going to be through this analysis, whether you do this with a professional or with a friend or through journaling. But there is going to be a need to be very clear-eyed in the assessment and non-judgmental. You are not right. You are not wrong. You are you. And in that, you should be able to acknowledge and accept the you that you are has woundedness from being in this dense 3D energy. And so to heal it, you have to love it and accept it. When it says here, I'm willing, work willingly to transform aspects of your shadow self, the way you do that is through self-love, self-appreciation, self-care, but self-acceptance. We all do things that we are, in hindsight, may have wished that we would have done differently, but those were our growth opportunities. And if we did not have those experiences, we wouldn't be who we are now. We wouldn't be who we are now. And who we are now is where we're at, and this is where we start from. So you have, okay. I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm on Facebook, and on Facebook in the group there is a link for it. I'm going to be working with this Venus as she transits in like over the course of, well, she's there like 4 or 5 months through Leo. Leo opposes your sign, so this would be, if you're an Aquarius rising, this would actually be your house of partnership. But Leo is about the heart activation, and so you have here the Stargate of the heart. And so the chakra, it says the heart chakra is opening, unlocking, and generosity. It feels risky. It does. It feels risky to open up, but it is an opportunity that leads to happiness. And you have the Earth Star activation, which is anchoring and grounding energy. This is willing to pull back. Also, all the it's the Isis activation too, right? The Isis energy. This is the regeneration. This is the where we have lost pieces and parts of us, right? Because Osiris was dismembered by his brother, and so to me that feels like, you know, when we were children and our family ridicules us and tears us apart, they're dismembering pieces and parts of us, and they get lost along the way. And Isis came in and she collected all of the pieces of him, and she put Osiris back together, and they were able to reconnect into a wholeness that then created Horus. And so there is this energy of creation that comes from collecting back all the pieces and the parts of you and accepting that energy in. And this Earth Star activation, this is grounding that energy. That means taking action toward your dream of pulling all the pieces of the self and the healing energy and bringing this in. And you're going to do this work through the heart space. And so here's another thing. There are 40,000 brain cells in your heart that are separate from your other brain cells. And the magnetic energy around the heart, the actual magnetic field is so much stronger than that of the brain. And when you're an air sign such as you tend to spend a lot of time up in your head working through things, thinking through things, and your heart chakra is what is being opened and activated. This is the space that you go into the shadow self. This is the space, the heart head coherence energy. This is when we allow ourselves to start making choices and decisions from the heart. We start empowering ourselves again through our emotional energy. And this is what this activation, this is such an intense emotional eclipse that's going to happen, because the eclipse trines Mars in Cancer, and there's going to be this big emotional explosive energy, and that's probably likely going to come out really close leading up to the eclipse, which if you're in the United States, it's at 1:34 p.m. Eastern Time Zone in the US, but there's a chat calculator in the description box below. Find out what time it is for you, because the energy leading up to this is the most tense energy. From Thursday, Friday, it just really builds and it's intense, okay? And then there's this explosion. of energy, emotional outlet. This, you might find that you just like blow up at somebody or someone blows up at you. There's all this tension. I think it's more likely that you'll be the one that blows up because of the square energy, adding additional tension to this for you. And then in the aftermath of it, it is almost as though, so we call this flooding. If you're on the spectrum, you can't filter all of the energy, and there's this big explosion as the energy flows through you, and then you're just so drained, and you're exhausted. And it's so like either you just like all the energy wipes, and so you will be wiped out afterwards. But then the moon moves into Sagittarius late in the afternoon on Saturday, and that is going to be very healing and uplifting and optimistic. And so I'm just setting you up for this because I don't want you to be caught off guard. If you are prepared for it, if you know ahead of time, it might allow you to avoid some of this energy, or at least avoid the self-criticism that comes from when we lose our shit, because we all do it. Anyone who doesn't ever do that, I don't even know you. Like, that's amazing that you don't. Good for you. Okay, so we have the Stargate heart, the heart chakra opening and unlocking the generosity. And this is not this is the generosity of spirit. This is the generosity of the acceptance of yourself for not being perfect, the acceptance of others for not being perfect. We're human, having a human experience. Even though we come from starlight and stardust and the source love, we are still having a very 3D human experience. And every time we mess something up, it is just an opportunity to grow. It's not really a mess up, it's just a lesson. And so your message here is your heart space is a sacred space deep within you. For some time, you have protected it with psychic shields and have not only stopped you from being hurt, but also stopped you from feeling love. And that is why the gateway to happiness here is being an opportunity to seek out the happiness and the joy, right? And this gateway appears showing you that you have finally dropped these shields and are ready to experience love. I see you, shadow side. I see the shield. I see the protection around my heart. And I am willing to accept that now is the time to do some work on opening up this heart space to allow in the love for myself, because when I love myself and accept myself, then I can invite others in also to love. I will believe it when they say they love me. When I don't love myself, it's hard for me to believe that anybody else does. And so I have to love myself. I have to accept myself. So that when people are saying that, I'm not looking at them like, what's your game? You're like, oh, okay. And also when you love yourself enough, if you let somebody in and then they leave, which often happens, right? You're okay, because your cup of love, you fill up yourself. You didn't need them to fill up your cup of love, but you did have a shared cup of love. But your own personal love, you can do that for yourself. And that is what opening this heart chakra and allowing this healing to come in will do for you. That is what this Isis Merkaba kind of energy here of allowing yourself to heal, to pull back the pieces of yourself and love all the parts of you, even the ones that maybe you were not that excited about. So the universe wisdom wants you to know that it is your divine right. You are a highly empathic and generous soul who has so much to give, and you're being called forth to reveal the deeper and more vulnerable aspects of your being. Divine light beings are surrounding you, holding you, and encouraging you to relax. All restrictions and blockages in your heart space have now been removed. The worst is behind you, and the world needs you. Oh my God, Aquarius, the world needs you. We need your light to shine. We need your uniqueness. We need the gifts and talents that you brought with you. And so in order to really shine out there in the world, there is a need for you to be whole. And so I keep my waters pure, your emotional waters, purifying out the negative, low vibrational energies of the wounding and the hurts, and allowing just it to be the love that you give yourself. Look, she very much looks like the star energy, right? Like she draws the water up and she releases the water. Also like almost like an Ace of Cups energy here. And I keep my own counsel. I love myself. I care about myself. I nurture myself. And while I am open to receiving and sharing with others, I don't need others to make me feel good about me. I can do it on my own. That is when you are on the track. That is when everything just becomes in flow. And so I know my shadow self, and I work willingly to transform aspects of it. And the aspect that you're being invited to transform right now is the shield and the guards that you have around your heart chakra that is limiting your ability to truly embrace all the joy and the happiness of this lifetime. So I wish you a lot of success on that. Please come and join me on Facebook. And thank you so much as you guys share in the community here that you're building with other Aquarians, that is a gift that you give each other. And I really appreciate when you share, because then they know they're not the only one having that experience. It's that Me Too moment that feels so good. So thank you for that. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. You guys take great care. It is going to be a difficult few days, I think. But on the other side, there's great, great healing opening up for you. So I'll see you over there on the other side of this eclipse. You guys take care. Talk to you soon.